Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. It's time for Taroscopes again. This is the Taroscopes for the sign of Sagittarius. That's Sagittarius Sun, Sagittarius Moon, and Sagittarius Rising for the month of February 2024. Now, February promises to be a very interesting, we could say, month. Things are going to happen very quickly. And a lot of things are going to be happening all at once. Everything all at once, all the time. Is that the name of that movie? Well, that's kind of feel uh, the energy of February. It's like going through almost like a wormhole, I think I might say. Although I'm not sure I've ever been through a wormhole, but probably in my dream states, I've navigated a few wormholes in my day. But there's a lot of new energy, leveling up of energy, lots of downloads, lots of Aquarius energy. Of course, Pluto moved into Aquarius on the 20th of January. First the Sun moved in, then Pluto moved in, and sort of been sitting in there. And now all the other planets that are in Capricorn, as the month starts, are going to move into Aquarius and meet up with Pluto. But we'll take a look at that. um, I'm going to be doing the astrology first. I am time stamping this. So if you're not too into astrology and you really just want the card reading, you can look in the box below and it'll tell you where the card reading begins. I'll be doing a tarot reading, and I've actually already picked a rune card and a crystal ally card, but I'll talk about those when the time comes for the card readings. So let's jump right into it, Sag. Like you usually do. Jump right in with 2 feet, not head first like Aries does and bumps their head sometimes and hurts themselves, but feet first. Feet first is definitely a Sagittarius thing. So um, let's make this a slideshow so it's a little easier to look at. All right, so we're looking at the sign of Sag for February. Of course, Sag is a fire sign, as we all know, especially Sages. Your mantra is I see, and you're mutable fire, so you're changeable, you're adaptable fire, the most adaptable of the fire signs for sure. Aries simply just wants to do it, go, right? And Leo is fixed, so it's very into it where it stands. But Sagittarius is open and reasonable and sometimes opinionated, we can say, but in general, Sagittarius helps us to extract meaning from situations. Sagittarius helps us to see the truth of a situation and the connections and how other people live, and how eventually, with that knowledge, how we can all live together more peaceably. There's quite a journey for that, though, isn't there? Okay, so we're going to jump right in to the astrology. Now, this is just a chart of the energy for the year. We have 3 Mercury retrogrades this year. Most of the time, Mercury spends in fire this year, while it's retrograde and also while it's direct. And so can be a very inspirational year in that regard. We're in an 8 vibration year. The 8 vibration is connected to the strength card in the tarot. And the 8 vibration is a vibration of manifestation. It's also a vibration of reaping what you've sown. And depending on what you've sown, depends on what you're going to reap this year. And that cycle of this, where we have this 8 vibration now, would have began in 2017. So seeds planted 2017, 2018 are coming for a harvest time this year. So we can expect quite a bit of success, especially if you've done your due diligence and done your best and brought light into the world. Your light will definitely shine this year. And you know, this on the tree of life, this vibration falls on the tree of life in the place where we balance letting go of the old and creating the new. And it's also energetically a place energetically connected to the throat chakra. And of course, the throat chakra speaks to us of creative self-expression. But the throat chakra is also the place where we um, where our ego steps aside and we allow divine will to move through us, and we get to co-create with spirit. So a really exciting times ahead. So if you notice, there's a lot of energy this month in your third house. Your third house is the Aquarius house for you guys. And we have a lot of energy there. We have a new moon there. And the third house is the house of the mind. So your mind is going to be extraordinarily active. And it also means that there's a lot of new beginnings in that place because we have a number of conjunctions happening there. Now, before we get there and we talk about what they are, let's just go week to week. The week one on the 2nd of February, which incidentally is the 2-2 portal, and Candlemas or Imbolc, the pagan holiday. It's the feast of Bridget, and it's midwinter in the northern hemisphere and midsummer in the southern hemisphere. We have Mercury making a waning sextile to Neptune. These all the sextiles this month are waning, meaning that they're releasing something out into the world. And when we're dealing with Neptune, we're dealing with divinity, we're dealing with unity consciousness, we're dealing with the divine. And these waning sextiles open the lines of communication and allow the divine to both speak to us and speak through us. We have the first one of these sextiles happening on the 2nd. That's Mercury, our minds. Then a few days later, we have on the 7th, we have Mars make the same sextile to Neptune. And so the first sextile, Mercury, is about what we're thinking. Mars is what we're doing. And so mind and actions sort of move together in the direction of humanitarian endeavor. This sextile has the overlay of Aquarius. And then lastly, on the third week, on the 13th, Venus does the same thing. Mercury's like starting the procession of planets towards that cusp with Aquarius. And in the meantime, it's making these sextiles to Neptune, which is located now at some of the last degrees of Pisces. Now, this 2024 will be the last year that I believe it's the last year that Pisces is completely in, Neptune is completely in Pisces this year. So in a way, this is an ending. Neptune has been powerfully placed in Pisces, and we can kind of connect a lot of the um, earth changes, water, things like that, pollution, especially mass kill-offs in the ocean, rising ocean temperatures to Neptune and Pisces. Neptune also rules oil. So, there's a lot to be said about that, which I'm not going to get into because this is about you, Sagittarius, you. On the second week, on the 5th of February, we have Mercury ingress into Aquarius. And of course, Mercury has to pay the toll taker at the cusp of Aquarius and meets up with Pluto on that same day. Of course, Pluto, this is all occurring at the first degree of Aquarius. The first degree of Aquarius is an old adobe mission in California. And it really speaks to those things that outlast the people that built them and the need for those kind of structures that can really sort of stand the test of time, but are a reflection of the values of the people that built them. So we're just at the beginning stages of building our Aquarian age. On the 7th, Venus makes a waning trine to Uranus. Trines are flowing. Uranus always sort of brings the unexpected, but it's not necessarily traumatic when it's a trine. And we have Venus there, the planet of love and relationships. So you might have a sudden relationship come in, or something changes in your relationship. This is a time when you can change things in your relationship. Change is easier and does not have to be traumatic. We have Mars make that sextile on the same day to Neptune, which I talked about. On the 8th, the Sun makes a last quarter square to Uranus. This can be revolutionary, rebellious. It's really about redefining who we are in the world. And it has to do with our ability to take responsibility for ourselves. The blame game is over, guys. And if we really truly want to become a mature adult, or something resembling an adult, we need to be able to take that responsibility and deal with the changes and let go of the things that no longer serve us um, at this time. On the 9th, we have a new moon in Aquarius. This new moon starts the year of the wood dragon. The wood dragon, every 12 years, we have a year of the dragon. The last year of the dragon was 2012, right? Ooh, 2012, it's all going to change on 2012. Well, a lot of things has changed since 2012, and a lot of things happened in 2012. One of them was we were in the year of the dragon. This time we're in the year of the wood dragon. Last time it was the water dragon. This time it's the wood dragon. And the wood dragon has force behind it. It's about growing things, right? It's a dragon of manifestation, as is the year of manifestation. When I tell you that this is the year you've been waiting for to manifest the seeds that you've planted, I can't stress it enough. So this new moon happens in your third house. So something new in your immediate environment, perhaps, maybe a new relationship with a sibling, maybe a new neighbor, or you're the new neighbor. But the third house is what's right outside your door. It's also the house of the mind. And so this is a very active time for your very prodigious brain, Sagittarius. On February 10th, Mercury makes a last quarter square to Jupiter. Mercury and Jupiter are two planets associated with the mind. The Mercury is our more logical mind, whereas Jupiter is our more intuitive mind. And of course, Jupiter is your ruling planet. Jupiter is in Taurus all month, still in Taurus. It's going to be in Taurus all of February, all of March, all of April, most of May, and it moves into Gemini in May, at the end of May. So we still have a few months of your ruling planet in Taurus. Now, Jupiter likes to fly, right? Excuse me, Sagittarius likes to fly. In fact, Sagittarius is associated with flying. A lot of pilots have heavy duty Sag in their chart. They like to travel, right? It's about traveling, but things have been in Taurus. And so Taurus isn't exactly the fastest. So say you're traveling, instead of traveling by like supersonic jet, which you might have preferred, you had to sort of ride your bicycle because it had to be Taurus is slow and deliberate, right? And so once it moves into Gemini, your opposite sign, things are really going to start to fly when it comes to Jupiter anyway. But right now, everything is in February. Almost everything is flying. What do you think, Charlie? Charlie has to have his moment with his mother. Okay. On the 13th, week 3, we have Mars ingress into Aquarius. And of course, the next day, Mars meets up with Pluto. So again, in order to enter the abode of Aquarius, just like Mercury, Mars has to meet up with the toll taker, Pluto. Pluto requires change. Pluto requires us to let go. Pluto is an energy of power. If we want the power, we need to be willing to let go of a few things. And a lot of that because in your chart is happening in your third house, it might be about ideas about things. Okay. Maybe even opinions about things that you've had before that have changed and shifted because of the experiences that you have experienced, um, over the last maybe 8 years, right? All right. When Mars ingresses into Aquarius that day, we also have that Venus sextile Neptune, which I spoke of. Mars and Pluto have a special relationship. It's a 2-year synodic cycle, as all Mars cycles are 2 years, right, Charlie? And Mars and Pluto is the unconscious desires of Pluto made conscious through the actions of Mars. And so it's at that first degree of Aquarius. So again, we're sort of building the foundations for the Aquarian age. On the 16th, Venus moves into Aquarius. And the next day, Venus conjoins Pluto, right? Venus conjoins Pluto just like Mercury had to, and just like Mars did. Of all the planets that, well, I can't say that. They all have their special relationship. But Venus and Pluto have a very interesting relationship. Venus is the planet of love, and the one thing that transcends death. Pluto is an archetype of transformation, certainly going into the underworld and coming back up. It has a little bit more of a psychological bent to it than, say, Saturn, which is also considered the end of the line, so to speak. But Venus transcends death. So love transcends death. So Venus is very powerful. Again, in 1 degree of Aquarius. And Venus deals with our values. And as she meets up with Pluto, she's being asked to perhaps let go of something. And Venus is also our relationship to others and ourselves. So maybe you have some ideas about yourself that it's time to let go of. Maybe you don't consider just how magnificent you are. And what you can do. A lot of people are like, well, what can I do? You can do a lot. First of all, you can be yourself, and that's very helpful. And be loving, that's very helpful. Two things that Venus is quite good at, actually. On the 18th, we have the Sun ingress into Pisces. So now the Sun moves out of that very crowded third house that you got there and moves into the fourth house, which is one of the most personal houses in the chart. It is a water house. You have Pisces there. So this is kind of mystical. A lot of Sagittarius, while they love to, travel around the world, their home is their sanctuary. And so take care of yourself in your sanctuary. This is a time to sort of rest up before the sun moves into Aries. It's like the month, in a way, it's the month of rest, or the month of letting go and imagining what it is that you want to bring forward once the new zodiacal year starts, when the sun moves into Aries in March. On the 22nd, Venus and Mars make a conjunction. They make it at 7 degrees of Aquarius. The Sabian symbol for 7 degrees of Aquarius is a child being born out of an egg. It indicates a new mutation, a new type of human that is not connected to the past or the racial connections or the traditional connections, all of these old hatreds that people continuously are perpetuating. This symbol says that is over. And so because we're dealing with Venus and Mars, and Venus and Mars are the two planets associated with how we relate to one another, this conjunction is asking us to relate as if we just met. All right. February 23rd, Mercury joins the sun and ingresses into Pisces. And so now your mind is out of that very, very active third house. It goes into that more mystical fourth house energy, the Cancer energy. Take care of yourself, please. Make sure you're doing what you need to do for yourself. Let's keep that tail down now. You don't need any anything going on over here. On the 24th, we have a full moon in the sign of Virgo. This full moon for you happens in your 10th house. So while you're enjoying your little spa sessions in your home, something comes to fruition in your career. So we're going to see something come up in your career. It could be around healing or your journey to healing. So a very, very exciting time for you. In the 5th week of February, Mars will make a last quarter square to Jupiter. We had Venus make, oh, I didn't even talk about that, on the 24th at the full moon. We also had Venus make a last quarter square to Jupiter. Last quarter squares are rebellious in nature. They're a crisis in belief or crisis in consciousness. Venus and Jupiter, even when squared, even though squares can be crisis, usually what it'll express itself by overdoing something, overspending, overeating, too many sweets, too many promises, being too nice maybe. But then a couple of days later, Mars does the same thing. And with Mars, it's a little different because it's not Venus. And with Mars square Jupiter, you could overextend yourself, do too much. Watch your back with that. It's very important, especially Sagittarius, as Sagittarius rules the sciatic nerve. Just be careful with that. On the 28th, this is a big day. We have 3 conjunctions on the 28th, a triple conjunction day. The conjunctions are between the Sun and Mercury, both in Pisces, then Mercury and Saturn in Pisces, and then the Sun and Saturn in Pisces. All of these conjunctions, starting the synodic cycle between Mercury and Saturn and the Sun and Saturn at 10 degrees of Pisces. An aviator flying through ground obscuring clouds. This is about utilizing and developing our psychic senses, those things that help us see beyond what we can physically see, right? If you're a pilot and there's ground obscuring clouds, you don't know where the ground is. You have to use your instrumentation, right? In order to know, like if you're a pilot, you know that when it's bad weather, you do what they call an instrumentation landing. You can't see, so you have to trust your instrumentation. And as people, our instrumentation are our psychic senses. And the word for this particular conjunction, the key word, according to Dane Rudger, is mastery. So this is mastery of your psychic senses. Now, some of you are already masters of your psychic senses, so that's good. But it's going to be so if you're really good at it already, you're going to have to utilize it to help other people connect with their psychic senses, right? And so this is an important time. And these synodic cycles are year-long cycles. And with Saturn and the Sun, Saturn shows us the limitations. And the Sun Saturn is limitations. Sun is illumination. We're going to see where the line is, so to speak, with this aspect. But we don't see it now because it's the beginning. We'll see that in 6 months when we have the opposition between Saturn and the Sun, which is going to happen when the Sun is in Virgo. So we're probably looking at September. We'll have a better idea. And incidentally, in September, Pluto moves back into back into Capricorn for a couple of months, and then exits the 20th of November. So that may have something to do with that as well. On the 29th, we have Mercury making a waning sextile to Jupiter. Whereas back on the 10th, they were kind of at odds with each other. With Mercury, the planet of reason, and Jupiter, the planet of intuition, sort of at cross purposes. By the time we get to the end of February, leap day as it is, they're talking to each other and they're working together towards improving and raising all boats. That sextile is about progressive change and moving in the direction of progressivism, which is exactly what we need in the world. So hopefully people get the memo. All right. let's stop the share here. All right, I have my cat on my lap, so I'm just going to use my hand. So I picked a rune card. This is Gibo. This is giving and taking. This is partnership. This is connection. This is an ability to connect on a psychic level and a physical level. Okay. X marks the spot here. Their bodies are creating the X. See the X there of Gibo? All right. So it's give and take, right? There's a balance between giving and taking. Not all about giving, and it's certainly not all about taking. And if it's not all about taking, I'd say it probably doesn't look too good for Trump. Anyway, and then as far as a card, I got kunzite and hidorite. Is that how you say it? Hidonite. It's the same mineral, really. One has chromium in it and makes it green, and one has I forget what it has in it. I actually have it right here. Sorry, I gotta like do this, you know how it is. Kunzite are both kunzite and hidonite are both varieties of the mineral spodumene. Spodumene is a powerful lithium-bearing stone that teaches of the need to join the heart and mind in reconnecting with the divine source. These two cards are so very similar to each other in a way. Kunzite contains inclusions of manganese, which activates the pink ray of divine love and joy, while hiddenite contains chromium and exhibits the green ray of divine healing and gratitude. Kunzite governs the emotional aspect of the heart and enables you to learn to see the energy of divine love in every aspect of reality, and hiddenite rules the physical dimension of the heart and the expression and experience of gratitude for the wellspring of abundance and healing that is the universe. This card represents the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Happiness and fulfillment are just around the corner if you can reconnect to the divine through your heart and receive the gifts that are waiting for you. This is going to be a fantabulous month for you, Sag. I'm telling you. But let's see what the cards say. Whoops. There goes all the cards flying with my cat's tail. Okay. All right. Let's see if I can do this here. Excellent. All right. Let's find a deck. I don't think I actually selected a deck for you, but I do have a bunch here. Let's see, which one do I want to use? I know the one I want to use. Let me see if I can find it. Ta-da! I found it. I think I'm going to use the Wildwood Tarot. Very pagan. And of course, some of the best pagans out there are Sagittarius. So Sagittarius actually rules the wild places and considered by evolutionary astrologers. People with Sagittarius or mutable signs in their chart are considered daemon souls, and daemon is your connection to nature. And so, as you know, Sagittarius, when things get really hairy for you, you just go outside, you breathe the air, you listen to the birds, you hang out with the animals, you take a hike, you go for a swim. It's a beautiful thing. All right, let's see what the cards have to say. Oh, crap, Oli. Oh, something just popped out. Let's see. The mirror. This is the Hanged Man. Seeing things from a different perspective. It's a Neptune card. And we have those sextiles to Neptune. So a lot of information. The Hanged Man card requires you to stay connected to cosmic consciousness. So, and I think it's going to be a fantabulous month for you. But the things in the outer world may not look so fantabulous. So don't forget that we need to connect to the divine source, not what is being shown to us as much as what we can discern from our connection to source. That's important. All right. Almost ready, almost ready. It's a feel thing with me. I don't necessarily have a, sometimes I get all OCD and I'm like, I'm gonna do it 7 times, but it depends on my mood. And I'm a Cancer, so my mood's always changing. Depends on what the moon is in, usually. As I'm doing this, what's the moon in? Oh, Taurus. Good moon. Good moon. All right. Is this upside down? Okay. Um, we have the Two of Stones here, Two of Pentacles. This is generally a balancing, but in this card, in this deck, we can see that they're sort of fighting each other uh here, but it did come out upside down. So, which I don't usually have my cards upside down. In fact, I looked to see if any of the other cards are upside down. Oh no, I guess just that one's not upside down. Okay, well, we'll do it right side up. Oh, wait a minute. How am I doing? Let's do it this way. No, again, it's funny because this doesn't look very different. Let me just, and those other cards fell on the floor, so I'll see if I can find them. With the other cards, right? I mean, look at this. Sorry. We have this as the first card, right? The Two of Pentacles. It's about balancing the finances, right? We could say that. But you see the similarities in these cards? The two sides trying to find balance here. Yeah, very interesting, huh? All right, let's put those over there. Let's see what's crossing that. Oh, the wheel. So, if you are having some challenges around resources, the wheel is turning. There's a change of fortune here. So if it's been a struggle, it's not going to be a struggle. Like that's going to change. Now that's the challenge card. So if you're used to struggling, then you don't have to struggle. What do? Ah, underneath it all, full illumination. You have shared your heart with the world, and the world sees you for who you are, your magnificence, your light. This is about shining your light. You have shown your light. You have nothing to worry about. This is also about a new direction. You're moving in a whole new direction now. Come, and it is the Sun card, so perhaps, yeah, perhaps it's already started because the Sun's in Aquarius, right? But the Sun went into Aquarius in January. So I think you already know there's already something, you know what I'm talking about. You've recently taken a huge step, a huge leap of faith. You've shown yourself, which is, Sages are pretty open, but not every Sag is totally open. There's other stuff going on in your chart, right? See what's in the sky. The nine of bows, respect. This is the Nine of Wands. So showing your boundaries, showing people where the line is, it's very important, but they respect you for that. They respect you for your ability to hold your boundaries. Your immediate uh your immediate future on the Nine of Stones, this is called tradition. This is sort of a self-made person based on their own work. This is the sweat of your own brow has brought you to a place where you feel stable, where you feel accomplished. I like these cards for you. That's another good money card. So it looks like money is going to be flowing in your direction. How it's seen from the outside, the Knight of, oh, hold on. Did I say arrows? The Knight of Arrows. This is the Knight of Swords. They see you as righteous. You are righteous. And you see the big picture. The thing about the hawk is the hawk can see the big picture and the fine details all at once. And that's a talent that you have, and people see that in you. Wow, these are pretty amazing cards. The domestic situation, we get the Four of Arrows. This is telling you to rest. Make sure when you're at home, you're getting your rest. If you don't get your rest, they're gonna shoot those arrows and make sure you stay down, right? So make sure you're getting the rest that you need, the alone time that you need. Again, go out into if the home is too noisy or there's not, go out into nature and feed yourself that way. Hopes and fears, that you're right on target. This is the Chariot in this deck, the Archer. You have shot your arrow. Do not fear. Your arrow is going to hit exactly where it needs to hit. We have the Page of Vessels, the Otter. The Otter has a very playful nature, right? And vessels would be the cups. And so this is good news coming and playful stuff. So you might actually, maybe you'll get invited to something, but there's an invitation to play. We have I'm going to pick 3 cards, see if we can get a major arcana. We get the Four of Stones. This is protection. This is also, you know, this is protection, especially around your resources. We get the, oh, Jesus. We get the 11, the Justice card, the balancing of the scales. So as you sow, so shall you reap. You'll be reaping quite a bit. Let's see what's underneath it. We have the two of arrows here, which is the Two of Swords. They call this injustice, but I call this waiting for justice. So you're still waiting for justice to be served. Happiness. And the Five of Vessels in this deck, it's ecstasy. So what I'm seeing is justice will happen in its own time. They want you to have fun, despite it's not quite there yet. Go out and have some fun. So have fun, or fun at emotion, things that are going to emotionally satisfy you, right? Get your rest. The Four of Arrows is about resting your mind. Okay, this is about resting your mind. So make sure that you, and you might just need some practice to quiet the mind. And again, if home is not conducive to that, then you have to find a space that is conducive to that, so you can transform in the ways that you need to transform. It's almost as if you're in a bit of a chrysalis. So I think what I want to say about these cards is that things are starting to manifest for you. And there is going to be a time, I think, when you're going to be put yourself out there a little bit more, maybe get out and do things outside of the home or outside of where you live, outside of the country, maybe. But right now, it's not quite time for that yet. And you definitely need to get your rest. Stop worrying about money. There's no reason to worry about money. People see who you are, and it's going to be just a matter of time before you can really, you can actually believe or know what I'm saying is exactly what is happening. You will be well known for what you do, and more well known, actually. And it's going to help to stabilize you financially, be able to give you the resources to protect yourself financially. And all the good that you've done is going to come back to you. If in fact you're bad and done bad things, well, that might be a little bit different. But I know if you're not watching me, because it doesn't really happen that way. All right, guys, have yourself a great month. Looks like a good month for you. Again, maybe even a little bit more of a more of a lay low month than you were planning, but it's okay, because the work that you've done up to this point is going to stand for itself, and you're going to start to see benefits from that, even if you're just lounging around on your back deck. All right, guys, take care. Have a wonderful month. If you would like to take a beginner's astrology class, I do have 2 that are going to be starting in February, and it's the beginner's astrology, and there's two options. You can do a, Monday night, 7 to 9 Eastern class. That starts on the 5th, and that goes for 6 consecutive Mondays. Every class is recorded, so if there's a problem with, a Monday that you can't make it, you'll still get the class. Or a Saturday from noon to 2 Eastern. That's for people who, like to work on the weekend. I actually like to work on Saturdays, honestly. And I must have had a past life. I must have had a Jewish past life or something, like Sabbath or whatever. But I like working on Saturdays. I don't know. It's like, what's that called? That they let people wear whatever they want on Fridays, casual Fridays. Every Saturday is a casual Saturday for me, and I love working on a casual Saturday. So that's that same course, 6 weeks, from the 3rd, I think, to maybe the 22nd. I can't remember what 6 weeks is from then, but anyway, it doesn't matter. No, it's not the 22nd. Sorry, don't listen to me. I mean, listen to me, but don't listen to that last thing I said. All right, that's what I want to say. Okay, and you can go on my website to the events page. That's where those things are listed, and you can register and you can join us. It's going to be a great class. I've already got a lot of really cool people who are going to be in it, and I find that these beginner classes end up being like a group of people that like to learn together. So they tend to go, to the next class or whatever together. All right, guys, take care. Much love. Namaste.